Okay, good afternoon, Year 11. Today we're going to be doing our lesson on percentage changes. This brings in a bit of reverse percentages. That's what we're going to focus on during the talking part of this lesson. But the work that you'll have to do on My Maths also involves some of the stuff you've done with compound interest. You might be sitting there thinking, but why are we jumping between topics so much? I did percentages and probability on Tuesday. We did indices yesterday, and now we're going back to percentages. This is what we call interleaving, where rather than focus solely on one topic, we sort of bounce between different ones and mix them in together. So rather than doing one big shift on something and then not covering it again before the exam, we do a little bit, we go do something else, we come back to something. We'll do percentages today, then we might leave percentages for a week and a half or so. It might be the end of next week, and you'll get some exam questions on it to do a bit more practice with it. But it's something that studies have shown helps your mind to remember things better and helps you to improve your recall of what you've done. And it is something that we are going to focus on, especially as we are, like I said, now just focusing on, hopefully, mostly on revision. So to begin with, a couple of questions on the Do It Now task. I'm just going to give you a moment there to pause the video and have a go at those two questions. And now looking at the answers, so 68 as a product of its prime factors. To do that, you should have drawn a factor tree. 68 would go to 2 and 34. 34 then goes to 2 and 17, and both 2 and 17 are prime numbers. So to write your answer, you'd write 68 equals 2 times 2 times 17. Or you can write it as 2 squared times 17. Either answer is fine, but you must have both the numbers and the multiplication symbols. The second question there, question B, the value of 25 to the power of 3 over 2. This follows on very closely, obviously, from what we were doing yesterday. So we've got two parts on this power. We've got the denominator of 2, which means we need to find the square root of 25. And then the 3 is numerator, so we then take that answer to the third power, or cube it. So the square root of 25 is 5, and then 5 to the power of 3 gives you 125. 5 times 5 times 5 gives you 125, so that's your answer there. So like I said, we're going to focus on percentage changes. And like I say, we're going to do a little bit on reverse percentages, and then you'll have some time to go off onto My Maths to do practice on that, as well as practice on the compound interest stuff and repeated changes and multipliers we've looked at previously. So just to start there, 6 quick questions on which multiplier you would use for each percentage change below. Pause the video, have a go at those questions. And now we're going to look at the answers of that. So just to go through these, a decrease of 18% would actually be 0.82, not 1.18. I've misread that as an increase. An increase of 4% would be 1.04. A decrease of 12% would be 0.88. An increase of 6.8% would be 1.068. A decrease of 20% would be 0.8, and a decrease of 5.5% would be 0.945. So just to remind you, when we're decreasing, we always start with 100%. If we're decreasing by 18%, we start with 100%, take off 18, 100 take away 18 is 82, and then divide that by 100 to get us 82%. Decreases will always be less than 1, the multiplier. Increases will always be more than 1. And that's what we then multiply the value by to work out that instant change. So with this, we're talking about a reverse percentage. So this is a question that uses a reverse percentage. It tells you what something is after a percentage change, and you're asked to find out what it cost originally, so what it was before the change. I'll give you a moment to have a look at that, to have a go at those. So pause the video and have a go at that question. And now moving forwards, looking at this, so we're going to go through 2 different approaches. But we can think here, we've increased it by 10%. The multiplier we would use for an increase of 10% is 1.1. So if we were working out a new cost, we'd have done the original cost, times it by 1.1, and got that new cost, got £13.20, 13.2 as a number. So the original times 1.1 is 13.2. So to get just the original amount, we work backwards. If we times by 1.1 to find the new amount, To find the original, we've got to go back. We divide by 1.1. So 13.2 divided by 1.1 gives you £12. Alternatively, we could figure it out by working with 1%. After an increase of 10%, we've now got 110% of the original amount. So we know that 110%, that's £13.20. So if we wanted to find 1%, we'd do £13.20, divide it by 110 this time. Because we've got 110%, we don't divide it by 100 to find 1%. We divide it by 110. And that tells us that 1% is 0.12. 13.2 divided by 110 gives you 0.12. So that's 1% of the original amount. And the original amount is always going to be 100%. So we take that 0.12, we times it by 100. That gets you that £12, that 100% for the original amount. So these are our two different approaches that we've looked at there. It may be helpful for you to leave this up on the screen on a separate tab for you to be able to come back and look at this. So pause the video there, I'd say might be a useful thing for you to do, so you can just sort of look back on this on the different ways for when you're doing the questions with reverse percentages. So now you need to go off and log onto MyMaths. Your password was emailed to you. I emailed your password on Tuesday, but do email me if you are unsure as to what it is, or you lost it somehow, you deleted the email and then deleted it out of your deleted folders items. There's 3 tasks set on there. You need to do all 3 tasks. Okay, so you need to do all 3 of those, and they're all to do with percentages and percentage change. And I'd expect you to be using a calculator with that, so don't worry if you're sitting there going, I can't do this without. You are expected to use a calculator with this. Okay, then we'll have a live lesson tomorrow afternoon. Or is it morning? I can't remember. You'll get a notification to tell you where it will be, and I'm going to be coming to you live from the school because I am actually at school tomorrow working with the key worker students. I hope you have a good evening, as this is your last lesson of the day after you've done your MyMaths stuff. Like I say, I'll see you online tomorrow. Bye. Bye.